And welcome back to episode 6 of Self-Care Summer. Welcome, everybody. Hope you are having a fabulous day. And it's a great day over here. We've transitioned from mental wellness for our first 4 weeks and over to the physical wellness side of Self-Care Summer. And today's, from a personal perspective, is very exciting for me because I get a chance to have two friends on, but also one Olympian and one pretty darn close to Olympian status, but also an Ironman as well. But before I jump into our really cool guests today, we thought it'd be interesting to bring up that, at the highest level of sport, mental wellness is something that people are still challenged with on an everyday basis. And we see that Simone Biles, a well-known name in gymnastics, has decided to leave the Olympics to go and take care of her mental wellness. And I think that's should be applauded. Absolutely amazing for her to stand up for herself and recognize the fact that she needs to work on her mental wellness. And that is the idea of this program. We started this, with the idea that, everybody has something going on in their lives. And at the end of the day, if we can be a helping hand, provide resources, that is why we're here. That's what the program is all about. We strongly encourage you to share this program with your friends, your clients, your family. Again, because if we can help one person, depending on the topic, we think that's absolutely fantastic. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to read these impressive bios, and I have to. Normally, I wouldn't do the full read through, but I do because I owe it to these two individuals to go right through. So first, we have Lee Hart joining us, and you won't know who he is until I introduce him here. As a coach, Lee has been fortunate enough to develop athletes to race all the way up to the pro elite levels within both ITU and pro Ironman circuits. And for those that don't know what Ironman is, we'll have Lee describe exactly what that is, so you have a better understanding of that. In conjunction to that, over the past 14 years, prior to 2019, was the lead development coach for GHAC for competitive swimming from the ages of 8 to the age of 14. So really being influential in those younger kids. And we know that those age groups, are very impressionable at that age. The past 2 years, he's been the head coach for the BMSC team. And as a head coach of this program, developing the adult masters team into an environment for adults to learn how to swim all the way up to be able to compete in world master swimming circuits. For those that swim, how challenging swimming can be. It's a full body workout for sure, but knowing how to properly swim is key for sure. For Lee as an athlete, he has qualified for multiple Triathlon World Championships from 2004 to 2019, spanning from competing nationally from Newfoundland to British Columbia and internationally at venues such as Switzerland, Hamburg, Germany, and Gold Coast, Australia, Las Vegas, and all over North America at the 5150 to half Ironman distances. Within Australia, I was able to claim top Canadian places for my age group at the Australia World Championships. Holy crap, that's awesome. And it's funny because I ran with this guy and he kicks my ass all the time. Having completed 3 Ironman races in 2011, Lake Placid, 2015, Mount Tremblant, and 2018, Louisville, Kentucky, which I can't wait to hear about that Kentucky journey. Previously was a competitive swimmer and formerly a national ranked swimmer for several years, was able to qualify to compete at the Olympic trials in 2000 in multiple events. So that's freaking impressive. But then we have Susie, our actual Olympian, and I want to do her justice to it. And the reason I'm introducing them both right now, because they're actually on the same camera today. And so I'm going to bring them both in at the same time. Susie is a 2012 Olympian, 400 meter freestyle and 400 individual medley, 2008 Olympian, 400 and 800 meter freestyle, 400 individual medley, skills and qualifications, placing 18th place. Trial time, tree time, they're going to correct me if I'm wrong here, but three-time world championship qualifier. Rome 2009, Shanghai 2011, and Barcelona in 2013. 5-time gold medalist at the Central American Games. All right, she's going to correct me on this. 2006 and Puerto Rico 2010. Texas women's swimming and diving varsity team 2006 to 2010. Full athletic scholarship. Team captain of the Texas women's swimming and diving varsity team 2009 to 2010. Vocal. All right, this is all in Spanish now, so Susie, you're going to have to absolutely do this. NCAA All-American Swimming 2008, four-time honorable mention All-American 2008 and to 2009. Holy smokes, guys. Like, that's the most I've had to read on the program, but you guys are absolutely impressive. And I wanted to take, the time to read through your resumes because, for the folks that watch this, I want them to understand the caliber of who each of you are, but also for the topic today as we get into, how to persevere and get through things in life and whether it be in athletics or, if it be in, everyday business, getting through things, perseverance is key. And we all have to sort of focus in on that. So I do have a couple questions, but Susie, what was that? It was in Spanish, that last part of the intro there. What did I miss?
No, and that when they say once an Olympian, always an Olympian, that the last one was just me being a part of the Olympic Association back home in Mexico. So, I usually get emails and I get notifications and, I get all these things because, you are part of it. You're part of that circle. And that's just what it means right at the end.
Gotcha. That's cool.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure, we understand that. But it's cool. I mean, I got a ton of questions for you around the Olympics, but I'm going to go to Lee first, if that's okay. And then I'm going to go to you, Susie, if that's fine. So, after looking at your careers individually and, the accomplishments to date, like what is the one thing that stands out for you individually?
One thing individually for me, as an athlete first, being able to compete at the higher level and being able to work my way all the way up there, that was something that was always striving to be better and knowing that there's always a bigger fish out there to try to get to, and constantly trying to improve myself and be able to constantly do continuous improvement, basically. And as a coach, the number one thing that I look at, it's not always about the athlete that you coach that wins provincials or nationals or becomes an international athlete. Some of my most memorable opportunities is taking an athlete and then being able to teach them how to put their face in the water and learn how to swim. And then in a couple years, all of a sudden they're doing an Ironman race. And just to help you out with that, Trevor, you were saying you wanted me to explain what that is. Ironman is basically a very, very long swim. It's a 3.8K swim. And then you decide to do about 180K bike ride. And then after that, just for fun, you're going to do a marathon. You're going to do a 42K run. And you have to do it in a timeline. So each of those stages you have to do within a certain limit or they pull you off the course. So to be able to take someone at the age of, let's say, 50 years old, never rode a bike, never ran, and they learn how to do that. And when they turn 55, complete their first Ironman, doesn't matter how fast, doesn't matter. That to me, what an accomplishment. And just to see that in what they do with themselves and be able to progress, not only in that side of their life, the physical, but mentally see them grow and take charge in other things in their lives, that's admirable. So,
yeah, that's awesome. Susie, just to bring you into it here and sort of the same question. I mean, again, an impressive resume when it comes to athletics, being an Olympian. What is that, one or two things that stand out for you over your career?
Yeah. And me, very similar to Lee, I was an athlete for a number of years and I went into coaching. But yeah, for me as an athlete, and we are having it, we're seeing it this week, the Olympics. I mean, it is the Olympic Games. It is the pinnacle for almost every athlete, outside of those national league, big sports, the Olympics is the one thing that 90% of the athletes want to get to, right? It's the pinnacle. It's the maximal accomplishment that you can do. So I do have to say, for me as an athlete, getting to that 2008 Beijing Games was amazing. And then not just go and and participate or actually do a very, very, very good performance there, and just kind of, focus on what I was doing, and, coming home with a few national records. That was probably the best thing that I could do as an athlete. And just going off of what Lee was saying, I'm going to tell you this story right here. When I started coaching, I started early with kids that 8 and under, maybe 10 and under, and I still remember to this day, and that's why I fell in love with coaching. It was a 9-year-old who was doing the 100 meter backstroke, which actually Canada won silver yesterday by the hands of Kyle Mass. Yesterday, it was very exciting. 100 backstroker. She was 8 years old, and she got a regional time, and it was absolutely amazing. Like the feeling that I got from just that swimmer, it was almost equal to what I felt in Beijing. It's very fulfilling, very, very fulfilling to see and help other people sort of, get those milestones, take those stepstones, to, their ultimate goal, whatever that may be. It may be different for everybody, right?
I love it. I mean, and you're right. I mean, whether it be Ironman or Olympics, it's those are amazing accomplishments. And Lee, thank you for describing how crazy an Ironman race can be. And Susie, I can't imagine, what it takes to get to the level of the Olympics. I mean, you're the top 1% of athletes in the world at that point. So it's definitely amazing. I want to sort of spin it a little bit here, and I'm going to go to Susie first. And because you've done so much training and you've had to get up early and endure, painful days and toughness, like, how do you persevere on those days that you just don't want to get out of bed? I mean, we all have them, whatever it is in our life. What gets you through? What gets the goggles going and the swimsuit going on those days for you, Susie?
No, I'm going to tell you right now, and for the audience out there, and again, I'm going to go back to watching the Olympics and watching those athletes when they touch the wall, when they finish the race or whatever it is, the look in their face of glory, and it's just exhilarating. It's very, very exciting. But I'm going to tell everybody who's listening to us, 90 to 95% of their journey was not like that at all. It was the complete opposite. It was out of 10 days, 9 were really, really, really tough. They are hard, very hard days where you're tired mentally, physically. You feel like you just can't give more. Just waking up seems like such a struggle, and that's a lot of the times, most of the journey is like that. But you have to remember, you have to go back to think about the reason you're doing what you're doing. Why you start doing what you're doing, right? What's your ultimate goal? And I have to say, the motivation, you can have a lot of inspiration from other athletes and other people, and you have to surround yourself with positive people, and people are going to push you. But at the end of the day, you have to look within yourself, because the motivation has to come with you, right? You have to remember what's your goal, what you started, and just focus on that. And, when that's lacking and you can't seem to find that, you seem to forget the reason or your goal, you have to stay disciplined. Just take it one step at a time. Just get up the bed, just take the covers out, right? Just get out of the bed and brush your teeth. That's more doable. And drink a glass of water, that's more doable. And you just kind of chip away, and get it done. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna finish that training session or whatever it is, and you're gonna feel a lot better after you've accomplished it than just looking back and saying, what if I had just given up and not even got out of bed? Like, that's even worse, and it's just gonna keep you pulling backwards and backwards and backwards, right? So you have to remember that those athletes out there that we see at the Olympics, they struggle, and they struggle big time. But what differs from them and the rest of the field is that they kept going. They just kept going. They just kept chipping away, and they kept doing the training, right? Because they're just that driven.
And that's definitely a good lesson. And Lee, I'll put the same question over to you. How do you persevere on those days? And I've been with you on some of them, but you do it all the time as well. And what's that one piece of information you could share?
Very similar to Susie. Like every day's a struggle. You have to persevere. Perseverance is key. But for myself, what I do is you remember why you're doing it. What's the goal? What's your passion? And not just that. When you are going to go after an ultimate goal, something that you want to accomplish, I always find if you surround yourself with a good group of people, a good support mechanism, and Trevor can attest for this. So, we get up at crazy hours in the morning, 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the morning to do some training because it's about the only time we can fit it in with the day job and everything else with life that's happening. But knowing that there's going to be anywhere between 2 to 6 to 20 people there waiting, teammates, people that are my friends, people that are counting on myself and they're counting on me to be there. That's what drives me. So it's kind of like they say, how do you raise a child? It takes a village. Very similar concept where if you have a goal and you surround yourself with the right kind of people, you can accomplish anything. And I'm a great believer in that. And like Susie said, it's very much the tiny little milestones. You have to chip away at it and then to hit that ultimate goal that you want to actually accomplish.
Love it. And I might be asking a question along the same lines now. And it's more specific to doing a race. So whether it be a 5K, a 10K, but in your case, Lee, an Ironman, where you've probably been, in an Ironman race, it's an extremely long race, and you've probably hit what they call the wall, where you have nothing left, just to describe that briefly for those. What gets you to the finish line on something like that?
I actually got a great example. My second Ironman was Mont Tremblant. It was the first time that Mont Tremblant was ever having the Ironman. So we never really knew what the conditions were. We never knew what it was going to be like in a race situation. And of course, it rained the entire time. And starting that race, I was having the race of my life. I did all the proper training, made sure everything was doing well. I was actually, when you're in a race, and I got to the run portion, there's usually a bike in front of you that shows you what position you are for the elite athletes. And I was literally running behind the person that was third place overall in the race. Never, ever in my life have I ever been that close in an Ironman. And I was right there. And right at around the 12K marker of the run, I completely blacked out. Everything in my body said, stop. You shouldn't do this anymore. Completely stop. So hitting that wall and then some. And I sat there and I was thinking to myself, I could literally just, stop and crawl underneath that tree over there and not move and have someone take care of me. But I remembered other races that I had done before. And in those races that I didn't finish, or I came up short, or I backed off, and the only person that knew that I backed off or that I was going to quit was myself. So I didn't want to let myself down, because when we're all laying in bed by ourselves, thinking about things or alone with our thoughts, those memories and those thoughts creep back in the back of your head, and they make you think about that. They say, wow, I let myself down, not anyone else. And to make sure that I am doing my ultimate and being the best that I can be in sport and in life, I want to be able to accomplish that. So I walked the rest of the run, kind of staggering, and I finished it. And yeah, I lost my placing. Yeah, I didn't really do the time that I wanted to, and all those years of training. But I was so proud of myself that I completed it, and I gave it my all, and I put it all out there. And that wall that we talk about, and it's awful. It's just the worst feeling in the world. Because I persevered through that, I knew that I accomplished something in my life, and I was happy with myself, and I was able to push on and move on to the next challenge, basically, in life.
I love it. That's, man. Just to add to your how do you say it, folklore there? I was doing a race with Lee in North Carolina, and it was a half Ironman, and he's a fast swimmer, and he got stung by a jellyfish.
Oh.
He still beat me and finished. And he might even have the scars to this day, but nothing was stopping him. He perseveres. I know that from a personal perspective. Susie, do you have like a story of sort of something like that in swimming where you've hit the wall and you're just like, you got to keep going?
Well, I gotta say, as a mom, I hit the wall every day. So you gotta push that. But no, I mean, as an athlete, I had countless races where I just, the famous I died. I've experienced it many times, but I'm going to tell you something, Trevor. The human body is an incredible thing, and you do your training to prepare you for a race, and the physiological changes that happen in your body while you're training, they're amazing. I mean, your body is completely ready to take on whatever race you want to do or you're training for. I think. There's obviously, so many cases that you see, like Lee just explained his, and you've seen so many athletes at the Olympic Games, finishing the marathon, literally just wobbling around. They have absolutely nothing, but they just keep on pushing to the finish line. And once they cross the finish line, they just, they collapse. They collapse. They have absolutely nothing left. Their stores, their body was done. But you know what wasn't done? It was their mind. So as incredible as the human body is, the mind is even more amazing. So a lot of the times you do get to those stages. And I'm going to tell you, most of the time, this wall is psychological. It's more of a mental wall than it is a physical. And you have to acknowledge that. You kind of, when you hit that point, you have to kind of talk to yourself and say, am I really hitting this physical wall where I can just collapse right now? Or is it just my mentality that's getting me there? So you have to be very honest with yourself and ask yourself that. And, if it is psychological, which is most likely going to be a psychological wall, you just have to literally just do mind over body and talk to yourself out of that wall and push through it. Okay, that's what I did every single time I hit that wall, and I thought I just could not push anymore. I just said, just keep stroking and pulling, because my body I'm gonna make my mind tell my body to just keep stroking and pulling, and just keep on kicking. Because at the end of the day, just like Lee said, if you do that, you're gonna look back and you say, oh wow, I just did that. Okay, I thought I had hit the wall, and I was able to push through it. Okay, so I'm very proud of myself, and that's just gonna get you even more momentum for the next challenge. And guess what? Next time you probably won't hit that wall, and if you do, you're gonna know what to do, right?
So you guys, so you've had your individual careers, and now you've both gone into coaching and helping the youth of tomorrow and today and all that get better with whatever they want to do. But you're actually involved in something really, really special right now with Gabe. I'm referring to Gabe and the Agua for Autism, and maybe you'd want to talk a little bit about that and how you got involved in it, and then what's actually going on with that event as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We've actually really fortunate. So just to kind of give a little kick to Gabe, Gabe is a doctor at the General Hospital. He saves lives every day. And he is a remarkable man who constantly is giving and giving and giving. Again, he saves lives every day. That's his job. But not just that. He finds ways to push forward and talking about the Agua for Autism Foundation. We've had the fortunate privilege of knowing Gabe for several years now. And he came to me actually about 4 years ago and said he wants to cross Lake Ontario at 52K. And that was a personal goal of his that he wanted to do, and also perceived to go into a body of water down in Colombia, which is the 72K crossings. So imagine swimming for 72 kilometers continuous, just phenomenal. But he didn't want us to just stop there. He's the kind of man that wants to help others, and he's gifts, and he's putting it into this foundation to help out children with autism that sometimes aren't able to interact socially within society the way it is, and he's taking these crossings and being able to throw it into this foundation that's being created here, and give back to this community for people that truly need the support and be able to help develop socially and provide a structure for social growth, and see what they can actually perform, and make them feel not isolated. It's quite the remarkable thing, and Susie and I and Trevor are very much involved, and to be able to be part of something like that, to give back to the community, give back to autism. It's very dear to my heart, and it's something that it's my why. Why do I want to do something? Why do I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning? Well, I get up because I want to support Kate. I want to support this foundation. I want to make sure that I'm helping others and be able to support them in things that they want to do. So yeah, that's what I'm really after.
Awesome. I don't know if it's my internet or yours, guys, there, but there was a little bit breaking up, and it may be mine. But for those that want to, learn a little bit more about what Gabe's doing, and just show that to your friends and family, the real www.realaguaman.com. And if you wish to donate, well, then you can do that as well and help him on his journey to help those with autism and help to socialize them a little bit more, as Lee was alluding to. So I want to ask you, a couple more questions here. Just, I know your time is valuable. So, I'm a guy, I'm eating potato chips, I'm sitting on my couch, and, I'm hearing you guys today. Now I want to do something. I'm inspired. I want to persevere. I want to do all of that stuff. How do you get started? What do you do? Like, for each of you, sort of, what do you suggest on, first steps of getting off the couch?
Well, I say, first of all, you have to figure out what is it that you want to accomplish. That's the first step. What is it exactly that you want to do? Do you want to just be healthy for, fit for life? Or do you actually want to sort of, if you're a little bit more competitive, maybe like, okay, I actually want to sign up for a race and start to train for that, or you just want to get buffed or whatever, and you want to get there. Whatever your goal is, that's the first step that you have to take. Actually, kind of sit down and search within yourself and see what is it that you want to do. Because sometimes, actually, it's the hardest part. Actually, figuring out what is it that you want to do. So once you have that over with, then you have to reach out. You have to reach out for help. You have to reach out for support, and trying to find, people or just even do a little bit of research. But definitely, you have to get support and help to kind of get that initiated. So yeah, that'll be, those are the two. For me, it's easy. It's actually really, really simple. One, figure out what you want to do. Two, reach out. And that's it. And just get started. There's a great thing, that you have to think about. You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. So there you go. Just start. Just get started.
I love it. That's awesome.
No, I 100% agree with Susie on that. My approach, because I've been coaching for 20 plus years, I personally like the personal touch. I like to reach out to an athlete or someone that's inspiring to do something, and have that consultation. Sit there and say, what's your goal? What's your ultimate goal? And what is something that you're inspired to do? And it could be in anything. It could be doing an Ironman. It could be to be, an actor. Who knows? Who knows what your passion is? Something that completes you. And then from there, you reach out to an expert, someone who knows what's going on and can guide you on your glide path to get there. What are your milestones to get to that accomplishment? And that's where that expert, that person that's there to help support you to get to that goal, that ultimate goal is there. So for instance, if you want to run a marathon, no one just walks out the door, they've never run before and try to run 42K. That's ridiculous. That's crazy. So you start basically with a program where you're run walking, and you're getting in that volume, and you're working with that coach or that mentor to say, okay, I accomplished this, and they set up those milestones to get there. And over a week, 2 weeks, a month, a year, whatever it takes, whatever you set up as your goal, you add 5 or 10%, and that person will help you persevere, have that support mechanism around there. So that's how I feel it's done. Very similar to what Susie said.
Yeah, perfect. That's awesome, and I can attest to that. Actually, getting off the couch and doing some stuff, get my ass moving too, and you guys have helped me with that. And you offer a wide range. I know we talked a little bit about Ironman and swimming and all of that today, but through tryhart.com, you offer a wide variety of ways to get in shape and do things and have some coaching. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, guys?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're kind of like a private coaching / athletic element. But what we wanted to do was provide the opportunity for anyone at any level to train. So, for instance, we have a fitness side of it where, to do some weight training, some body weight training, some biometrics, so to speak. If that's something that you're interested in and you want to progress that into sports, able to do that. We're teaching how to swim, bike, and run. We have a lovely opportunity, something that most of the community doesn't have. We have what's called an infinity pool. Basically, you have the waves hit you while you're swimming and you're stagnant, and we're able to actually coach and help make you more effective and efficient in the water, and teaching that element of things. So wide range, and basically helping persevere. Yes, a lot of people come to us because it says Try Hart Triathlon, but it's not just that. If you want to be able to, bike across the country or something, that's something we definitely put together. So.
Yeah, I would just think that it's sports in general. It's a great tool to kind of go back to that. It's a great tool to persevere, but then also just to be, your best self. I use, swimming for me, that's what I know, right? Biking, sports in general, or just physical movement. Physical movement is just a great way to kind of find what is it that you can do, kind of push yourself, push that comfort zone. Nothing really comes out of being comfortable, right? You have to kind of get comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's really how change happens. And that's how you get better. And that's how you kind of push yourself to the next level and just find your better self. I think that's just a great tool to have, right? Physical movement, exercise. If you're competitive, sign up for a race. Just be brave enough to find out what you can do, right? That's at the end of the day what we're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah, I love that, and I know you guys offer some online programs as well. So if there's anybody who's watching this after or listening, and you're not specifically in the Hamilton area or that GTA sort of area, then you can also reach out as well, and they have some programs available for you as well. And I want to thank you both for coming on today and really sharing a little bit of your personal experiences through sport, but also talking about the challenges that you had and then how you overcame them. I think at the end of the day, it all relates back to our mental wellness and our mental health, and being physically fit and the physical side of things is, ultra important. And who better to talk about it than Lee and Susie? They've been to the show, so they know what they're talking about. And then leading into the coaching side of it and helping others and inspiring them on a daily basis is huge. And you guys inspire me on a daily basis as well. And I'm lucky enough to have you on today, but fortunate enough to call you my friends. And I want to thank you on behalf of everybody for joining us today. And I'm looking forward to our next training session.
Thank you, Trevor, for having us. Really,
thanks, guys. Thank you, everybody, and we will see you back for week 7 of Self-Care Summer as we continue on with the physical aspect of everything. See you next Tuesday at 2 p.m.